Hello, my name is Suzanne Johnson. One way that I increase my gratitude practice is think of memories that increase my gratitude. And I thought this story may be one that increases your gratitude. What happened is about 6 years ago, I was at work and I was talking to a man. He was feeling very frantic because his mom desperately needed a wheelchair, but they couldn't afford a wheelchair. They're very expensive. So I said to him, I know someone who cleans out houses after people have moved out, and I'll call him and see if he comes across a wheelchair. So I called my friend and told him about the situation, and he called me and soon after, and he said 3 hours after I asked him, his neighbor had asked him, was cleaning out his garage and asked him if he needed a wheelchair. He said, yes, he'd like it. And so he said I could have it. So he gave me the wheelchair, but I was disappointed to see that the arms were wobbly and there was no place to rest your feet. But I thought, well, it is a wheelchair. So I called the man who said he needed the wheelchair and left a message. He didn't call back. I did find out 2 weeks later he didn't need the wheelchair anymore because they found out health insurance would pay for it. So I was kind of disgusted. I went out of my way to get this wheelchair. I cleaned it up and it was in my house. And so I thought, well, I could just put it out on the curb. And I thought, well, maybe someone might need it. So I posted on Craigslist under free, 5 p.m. July 4th. Well, don't you know it, 10 p.m. that night, I got a call from, I'll say, a woman named Judy. And she asked me, did I still have that wheelchair available? And I said, yes, I do. And she was very excited. She wanted to come get it right then and there. And I said, well, you don't have to come this late. You can come tomorrow if you want. But I said, you do need to know something about this wheelchair. I said, there's no place for you to rest your feet. And she said very cheerfully, well, that's okay because I don't have any feet. And I thought, oh. And I said, well, and also the arms are kind of wobbly. But she said that didn't matter at all because she didn't have any hands. And I was kind of shocked. I said, well, okay. And so she said her wheelchair was about to fall apart and she just couldn't afford another one. And she just felt like this was her 4th of July gift. So I was glad to find a home for the wheelchair. So 2 days later, she said she was going to come. She said she'd be at my house in 40 minutes. So I waited and nobody showed up. I didn't have a phone number for her and I thought maybe the whole thing was a big joke. I remember a friend was over and I felt embarrassed. So I got a call late that night. It turns out her son got confused. At the time I lived in St. Clair Shores, and he told her to drive to the city of St. Clair, which is an hour beyond me. And she didn't have her own cell phone because she couldn't afford it. So she was able to find a young man and asked to use his cell phone, and she called and explained the situation, and she got directions to my home. So an hour later, I heard my doorbell ring, and I go down and I look out. I remember I look out the window and I don't see anybody. And she said, hello. Well, I forgot. She was crawling. She doesn't have hands or feet. So I looked down and there she is. And she said, hello, I came for the wheelchair. So I said, oh, okay, very good. And so I took the wheelchair out there and I put it in her vehicle. And then she had this fake leg she strapped on. And then she got in her vehicle. She was so happy for this wheelchair and she drove off. And I was so grateful because it was kind of an odd set of circumstances that I was able to help her. And also I just felt grateful, of course, that I have legs and arms and feet that work perfectly well. So that's the end of my story. And I hope that the story helped you, and have a good night. Bye-bye.